Zodiac is a 2.1 Extreme Demon Mega Collaboration level, hosted and published by Bionics and hack verified by Xander on January 28th, 2019. On June 11th, 2019, Xander admitted to hacking this level, including numerous other achievements, the ownership and the rights to decide the fate of this level have consequently been passed to Technical, who beat the level legitimately on April 9th, 2019. Therefore, he became the first legitimate victor of Zodiac. The, le- the level was initially published on Xander's account, but moved to Bionic's account on October 14th, 2021. Zodiac was placed at number 1 on the demon list, surpassing Bloodlust. The level received mixed reviews from players who praised its decoration and difficulty but criticized its gameplay, calling it unbalanced and choke point heavy, with most of those points present in the second part. Spiritual a spiritual successor, Spectra, was hosted by Xander and released in Update 2.2. On July 16th, 2017, Raiko LP released a video showcasing his part in a new upcoming Extreme Demon mega collaboration named Zodiac. In the video description, he stated that it would be 3 minutes and 15 seconds long and set to be the hardest demon. He also revealed the complete list of participants, with some well-known creators such as Laser Blitz, Rustum, and Manic 648. 2 days later, Rustum uploaded a video that showcased his finished part of the level. The next day, on July 19th, 2017, C released a video showcasing the first 7 parts of Zodiac. After a couple of creators revealed their parts, Raiko LP announced the Zodiac Creator Contest to fill in the 10th spot of the level on September 26th. After this, however, activity surrounding the level subsided. Not much new information was heard about the level. The host, Raiko LP, then quit Geometry Dash, causing many players to think that the level was dead. Raiko LP passed the rights of the level to a player named Leo Creator X, who made the second last part. The rumors were disapproved when Analex uploaded his part in the mega collaboration onto YouTube on January 30th, 2018, with it being the last part in the level, replacing Splash. Analex revealed in the comment section that they are nearly finishing the level and announced that Jahu had won the creator contest. Leo Creator X handed the ownership to Bionics, and as the new host, and Wuxi was set to verify it. On February 12th, 2018, the Tactic uploaded the finished level to YouTube, showcasing the new parts and team. This signified that the level was in fact alive and would be released sometime. Later, since Wuxi 999 was too busy with other projects, the level was handed to End Level to verify. However, Bionics and End Level agreed to give the level to Benji 8080, an unknown player. Benji 8080 dropped all of his other projects and focused on Zodiac and Hyper Paracosm, now Chrism Planet. On April 11th, 2018, he got 31% after 5,585 attempts. He later got 38% on April 22nd after 16,037 attempts. On June 2nd, he got 61 to 100% after 26,881 attempts, and also reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. However, about 2 months later, on August 20th, he dropped Zodiac and gave the level a shout out to Zodiac. In the video description, Benji explained that he decided to give the level up because of school and demotivation. On November 4th, 2018, Diamond Splash got a record of 42%. In the video description, he explained he was now verifying the level, stated he was enjoying it so far, and claimed to have achieved a start position of 49 to 90% off camera. However, Diamond Splash dropped the verification, and it was passed into the hands of an Australian player, Xander. On January 19th, 2019, Xander hack verified Zodiac. After surprisingly 61,375 attempts, he kept the hacking of the level a secret until June 11th, 2019, when he confessed. The verification was awarded to Technical, the first victor of the level. Zodiac remained the number 1 extreme demon on the demon list until February 9th, 2020, when it was dethroned by Tartarus. On May 21st, 2024, the original unnerfed version of Zodiac was verified by the player Nebnoob after 179,284 attempts. At 0 to 3%, the level starts with Ryko LP's part, a 0.5x speed cube section with simple sphere timings. At 3 to 7%, Rustum's part begins with a brief auto section, during which the player can choose to activate the level's ultra low detail mode, before entering a 1x speed, normal-sized cube section that eventually becomes mini. The player then enters a brief ball section, followed by a robot. The part ends as a wave after a brief auto cube section. At 7 to 11%, as the speed slows back down to 0.5x speed, Onikana's part starts with a difficult mini robot segment, requiring lots of timing and skill. After briefly turning into normal size, the player becomes a cube followed by another tight robot segment. The part ends as a tight cube section. At 11 to 15%, Jakob Nugget's part is next, starting as a normal-sized ball part requiring crucial timing and becoming mini-sized in the middle. A 1x speed straight fly based rocket ship segment with some spheres and portal follows, and the section ends as a cube section with 2 triple spike jumps. At 15 to 20%, at the drop, Bionix's part begins with a 3x speed mini cube section, followed by a short straight fly part and a very tight UFO segment. After a timing-based robot part, the player briefly turns into a 1x speed cube for a 3x spike jump before some 4x speed straight fly. The part ends with a very tight 1x speed mini wave segment. At 20 to 26%, after a short break, Dream Eater's part starts with a 4x speed spider cube dual segment. After the cube turns into a UFO, some 3x speed straight fly occurs, followed by a brief 0.5x 4x speed cube, the speed immediately picks back up to 4x speed in a timing-based cube section. And the part ends with a 0.5x speed cube section that is mostly auto but requires one red sphere. At 26 to 33%, Zodiac's part begins with a fast-paced 4x speed cube section with some tricky timings required. After briefly slowing down to 1x speed, a 3x speed straight fly part is next, and the part ends with some more fast-paced timing cube gameplay. At 33 to 38%, Osiris's part stays a cube briefly before a one jump tight UFO. Another timing cube follows, with a tight spider part coming right after. After another timing-based robot and ball, there is a very tight mini spider section, and the part ends with a spider swing copter. At 38 to 44%, Shockshidan's part opens with a confusing 2x speed dual cube section, starting with a frame perfect jump. After a brief straight fly, a dual rocket ship segment appears with a blue orb causing both rocket ships to fly in period briefly, before quickly turning solo again. The player then enters a 3x speed cube section for a timed jump, followed by a timing-based, including a single frame perfect, 2x speed ball segment that becomes a duel. The part ends with dual rocket ship straight flying. At 44 to 49%, at the beginning of Jahu's part, the player is a cube and must jump right before entering the ball portal to survive. A rocket ship part comes right after, with a very tight wave coming after that. After a tricky dual mini wave part, the player briefly becomes a single cube. A tight spider part follows, and then the player becomes dual for a brief while. And the part ends with some 2x speed straight flying. At 49 to 52%, as the song slows, so does the gameplay. The tactics part is entirely at 0.5x speed and begins with a timing-based mini robot section, followed by a tricky rocket ship segment with lots of skill, tight spaces, and straight flying involved. At 52 to 56%, Semifying's part stays 0.5x speed, with a short timing-based cube segment that quickly becomes a tight rocket ship segment. A UFO, cube, spider, and ball part follows. And all game modes require one jump. A very tight and skill-based rocket ship part is next, with a short but tight wave segment after it. The part then ends with a 1x speed timing-based cube section. At 56 to 61%, the music and gameplay speed back up in TMN Gaming's part, starting as a 2x speed timing cube section with a spamming based wave segment next. Some very tight mini rocket ship straight fly follows. A short auto cube section leads to a tiny mini ball, a timing mini ball, followed by a tight wave and UFO. The part ends with some more straight fly. At 61 to 67%, Failure 444's part begins as a 3x speed cube before entering a UFO part, followed by a tight ball section. After that, the player enters a cube section with difficult timings and a rocket ship segment where they must straight fly. Afterwards is a memory-based cube part and a very tight wave segment. The player goes down to 2x speed and then 1x speed in a timing-based cube section. At 67 to 70%, the next part begins with a 0.5x speed cube section that revolves around timing, with a tight skill-based rocket ship part right after. A timing ball segment, the part after a timing ball segment, the part ends with a 1x speed cube section with a couple of sphere timings. At 70 to 75%, Marwek's part begins as a 1x speed mini cube with difficult timings and a ball segment with similar timings shortly after. The player then enters a 2x speed straight fly rocket ship segment. The part then ends with a 3x speed cube segment that transitions into the second drop of the song. At 75 to 81%, Panuto's part starts as a 3x speed wave with tricky cube timings, interspersed, including a 79% frame-perfect sphere timing, one of the major choke points in the level. The section ends with a 0.5x speed cube and transition. At 81 to 87%, Slim Jim's part starts as a brief 3x speed mini cube and UFO segment. Next, the player enters a very fast-paced spamming-based wave segment and a fast spider segment with a timing-based mini ball segment coming right after. After a one-jump mini robot, a mini rocket ship straight fly segment follows with several teleport portals, bringing the player up and down the camera. After a quick timing cube section, the part ends with some straight fly. At 87 to 93%, Leo Crater X's part begins with a 2x speed based cube section. After a short 4x speed cube section with multiple dash orbs to hit, the part ends with a short 3x speed mini ball section. Once again, utilizing timings. At 93 to 100%, and Lexus part begins as a 3x speed straight fly section, and then a quick UFO segment appears. After a timing-based cube part, another UFO section with mini gravity portals occurs, followed by a very tight wave segment that switches in gravity and size with many times very quickly. The player is presented with a 2x speed mini cube before the level ends with one 0.5x speed green orb timing. Zoink beat Zodiac as his first ever list demon jumping from Bloodbath. Person Human 42 and Underdog GD also jumped to this level from Bloodbath. Aussie 612, Minecrafted, and Switch and Rory beat the level in 1 week on 19 to 16 on August 9th to 16th, 2019, creating the term known as Zodiac Week. Joshua 28's 12,194 attempts used to be the attempt record from January 26th, 2020 to May 20th, 2021. Ryko LP, the level the level's host, completed Zodiac in 22,000 attempts. 12 Kelvin's completion of Zodiac on December 4th, 2021 made it the hardest completed demon on a controller at the time. Drex 16 became the 500th victor of Zodiac on April 12th, 2025. Zodiac was ranked number 57 in GD Today's 100 Greatest Levels of All Time list. At 55% at the end of Samifying's part, the creator's message, GL Sammy out, can be found. It is a distinct feature on most of his mega collaboration parts. Aquatus, Laser Blitz, Manix 648, Panman, Lugia, Psysonic, Nemphis, Edix, Black Ekin, and Splash all used to be a part of the mega collaboration, but later quit. Aquatus' layout, however, was retained and decorated by Onika. Some people have called Zodiac near impossible due to its length and timings. If the player dies at the last green orb timing at 99%, the text "Noise says hi" will appear. This refers to the player GMD Noise, claimed as the president of Geometry Dash Twitter. According to Wombat, Zodiac used to be called Exosphere before she convinced Ryko LP to change the name to Zodiac. Iced Cave revealed an unofficial sequel to Zodiac, calling Spectre, which features Jacob, Nugget, and Xander. Spectre was made the official sequel of Zodiac at some point, but Bionics and Ryko LP decided to revoke their decision. It was set to be verified by Ezvi, who eventually dropped the level. Spectre was verified by Person Human 42 on October 5th, 2024, and placed at number 6 on the demon list on November 11th, 2024. Throughout Zodiac's creation and progress, parts from Zodiac have gone through different versions compared to the published level. Onika and Aquatus' parts have different gameplay at the end of them. Arceus' part utilized Miniwave, Black Orb, Spam, and Teleport portals. TM and Gaming's part used to have a brief straight fly segment where the background was dark and only a straight fly critter was visible.